I think Toyota did make a big mistake with the new Tacoma. However, I don't think it's pricing. I get a lot of comments on the channel about pricing and how much it costs and it's too expensive, and I agree. I think for the value that you get out of the new Tacoma, paying 50 grand or more is too much money. Probably even 45,000 or more, if I'm being honest. I just don't think the value is there, but I don't think that's the real reason that people are so up in arms about the new Tacoma, and maybe even to the point that we're seeing Tacomas start to accumulate a little bit on the lots. It wasn't long ago that if you wanted the new Tacoma, you pretty much had to take one out of allocation because there weren't any around. And I think no matter what, there's always going to be a group of people, I'm in that group, that is going to buy the new truck when it comes out because they either like it, they want something new, they're a fanatic, or maybe they just want the latest and greatest thing. Who knows? For me, obviously, it's for the channel. Now, that doesn't mean that I would have bought the truck if I didn't like it. I've never bought any vehicle that I didn't like from the beginning. So I do like the truck, I did like the truck, and I'm very happy with the truck. But the big problem isn't pricing. You see, I think if a product like the Tacoma is good enough and done the way that people want it, pricing is not really the biggest concern. And I say that because I see a lot of big trucks, a lot of expensive trucks and other vehicles out on the road. Trucks that I know people have paid anywhere from $60,000 to $70,000+ for, right? So if price was such a huge concern, I guess I don't know why people would be spending money at all on any of these vehicles. So what is it? What is the problem? What did Toyota miscalculate, I think? It's the engine. And this isn't a big secret, I don't think. I've had a lot of complaints or comments about this as well on the channel. It's the engine, the 4-cylinder turbo, for a number of reasons. And honestly, I was a bit skeptical of it myself. I had said on the channel that I would have to drive one to see if I liked it, right? And that was always the case. When I went in and that first video I put out, the first drive I think of anybody on YouTube here in South Texas, and drove that truck, it was awesome. It satisfied my concerns about it being a 4-cylinder turbo. But there are other reasons out there. You see, people are afraid that it's not going to last very long, that there's going to be problems with that new 4-cylinder. It's not really new. It's an engine that Toyota has been using in other vehicles for quite a while now. So it's not that it's untested, but you have to overcome that fear, right? I realize that not everybody out there is as in tune with what's going on with the Tacoma as I am. I watch what's going on, I read news reports about it, I do some research. So I don't think most people are probably like that, most common buyers, right? So may not be aware that that engine or this engine has been out for a while. It's not really a big concern. More concerning, I think, is probably the longevity of it and how you use it. Is a 4-cylinder strong enough to be able to take what a lot of people put trucks through, either in the form of using them as work trucks, hauling heavy weight, and let's be honest, when it comes to capacities, we all exceed that. I've done it many times in Tacomas myself. You go to the garden center, in my case, pick up a load of dirt or whatever, they thump it in the back of the truck, and it's overweight, right? How many times are you going to be able to do that with this new 4-cylinder without it being the tried and true 6-cylinder, right? I mean, we have history on that engine. It's been around for a long time and people have put it through its paces. I understand that people are concerned about the 4-cylinder turbo. The other issue is how long is the turbo itself going to last? There's a big controversy out there about having to let that turbo cool down after you drive it at higher speeds. Even in the manual, Toyota states that if you drive it at, say, 65 mile an hour, I forget, it's a little bit lower speed than that, but for a consistently long period of time, you're supposed to leave it cool down at slower speeds for a minute. So that means you pull off the freeway, let's say, and for a minute you're supposed to let the truck just cool down. Now, that can be while driving at 30 mile an hour or 20 mile an hour or whatever once you get off the freeway. And honestly, unless you're pulling into a gas station or a restaurant or store or whatever immediately, I doubt you live right off the freeway. I'm sure there's a handful of people that do, maybe those that live off of country roads. It doesn't just have to be freeways, right? I mean, like in the area I'm in right now, a lot of these side country roads are 55 miles an hour. And that is going to be potentially a prolonged period of time where you're driving over that threshold. So you're supposed to let the car, the truck, the Tacoma, cool down, the turbo cool down for 1 minute. Is that too much to ask? Yeah, it is too much to ask. I mean, I'm a pretty impatient person, and I'll be damned if I want to say I lived off a country road, be driving 55 miles an hour on my road, and then turn into my driveway and have to sit there and wait for a minute. I know, it's 60 seconds, right? But who cares? It's 60 seconds. I can be walking into the house and doing something else. I don't want to wait either, so I don't blame people for that. I think it is a problem. I don't know that there's really any way around it unless Toyota had some kind of a cooling system set up that kicked on after you turned the truck off. I don't know. I could see if they did that, we'd have all kinds of battery and electrical problems. Not something that anybody is going to want either. So it's another point of contention, I guess. So anyway, I really don't believe that pricing is the problem. It certainly is too high. I agree. But the biggest problem is how Toyota has it set up with the 4-cylinder turbo. I think that's the biggest hang-up that people have with this truck. Yeah, they added some more technology and stuff, but whatever. A radio, it's a radio. It's an entertainment system, whatever. Doesn't really matter if they've updated or not. Of course, they did add auto stop, a thorn in the side for me, but I will give credit to Toyota. They set it up in such a way that if I'm not pushing hard on the brake pedal, it doesn't kick in. I do like that. It's a way to control it without having to push the button. There is a button. You can deactivate it, by the way, but if you're like me, I forget about that every time I get in the truck, and it typically isn't until I pull up to a stoplight or something, the truck shuts off, that I think, oh man, I forgot to hit that damn button. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know if you agree. Is the problem really the pricing, or is it that 4-cylinder turbo engine that people are mostly concerned about? I'd be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.